Hello, everyone, and welcome to KaleidoLA. On behalf of the Department of Art and Art History and the LeBand Art Gallery, I welcome you to KaleidoLA today. I am Karen Rapp, and I'm hosting this artist lecture series from the Loyola Marymount University campus in Los Angeles. I want to acknowledge that our beautiful campus is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. It has been my privilege to plan and realize this artist lecture series around themes of social, economic, and racial justice. The 8 artists who make up this fall series identify as Black, Indigenous, or POC, a person of color, and several belong to LGBTQ communities. I hope that by sharing their stories with us, and in particular with you, our students, these artists will inspire our ongoing efforts toward creating and maintaining diversity, equity, and inclusion in the arts at LMU. I am grateful to everyone who has helped make this web-based series a success. Thank you to the faculty and staff of Art and Art History, especially Arturo Mejia, Saricho Dobson, Alegria Garcia, Emma Pollan, and Jose Camacho, who are both juniors at LMU, are integral members of this team, as well as Molly Corey, the LeBand Gallery manager. I value the community that we have created via the ever-challenging Zoom platform. There is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen where you can write questions or give your reaction throughout the talk. Once our guest speaker finishes her presentation, your question will be read aloud and will be answered live. Today's presentation is being recorded and it will be archived on YouTube with a link available on the KaleidoLA website. It is my pleasure to warmly welcome Huntrezz Janos to KaleidoLA. Huntrezz will speak about her cutting-edge multimedia artwork that combines and blends augmented reality with virtual reality. Her work ranges from stop motion, computer graphic animations to virtual reality biz, live action videos, paintings, sculptures, hologram installation, rap, and music performances, as well as combinations of all of these. She often draws inspiration from science fiction and Afrofuturism. Huntrezz identifies as an Afro-Hungarian trans woman and speaks about her practice as activist-oriented. In her videos, she creates protagonists who embody her identity and possess cunning, humor, grace, and strength to tackle real-life systemic racism and forces of oppression. Huntrezz recently elaborated on her activism in an October 2020 interview with KaleidoLA. Quote, "I want to change people's minds and make them think about the presumptions they may have about people like me," she says. "I want people to see that there are a lot of beautiful things that can come from our differences. As a Black trans woman, I often feel like I'm not valued or even not safe in the world. I use my work to showcase diversity and innovation in a way that you can't deny." End quote. Huntrezz earned her BFA in experimental animation from the California Institute of the Arts in 2018. She has been an experimental media instructor working with middle and high school age students across Los Angeles. This summer, she headlined Late at Tate Britain, programmed by London's Tate Collective, a streamed event that explored how young creatives are responding to lockdown, identity, and activism. I had the pleasure to experience Huntrezz's virtual filters in person earlier this year in a group exhibition entitled Beyond Embodiment, that was co-curated by Laura Darlington and Selma Swaden at the Brand Art Gallery and Library in Glendale, California. Huntrezz actively shares her work in venues such as Red Cat, the Los Angeles Center for Digital Art, as well as in the recent biodesign competition at MoMA, New York. I am delighted, thrilled, so happy to have Huntrezz here. Thank you, Huntrezz, for joining us. And I know that this will be one of the most engaging presentations that we have with Kaleido as a multimedia artist. I'm thrilled to have you join us. So Huntrezz, I invite you to come to the virtual podium, turn on your camera and your audio, and I will be in the background, potentially asking you a few questions. So thank you so much for being here. It is wonderful, and I'm so excited to learn about both your process and your inspirations. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Oh, what a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. I'm really excited for this also. I have a lot to talk about as far as my art goes, because I'm always like exploring and changing, new things. And we just were going over in our like little pre-show talk is like that Karen asked me like why I named one of my most recent creations Fluxy. It's an idea of Fluxus. One of my most recent creations, I mean, like a 3D model, a 3D character, an embodiment of like a part of who I am, because I'm showcasing different aspects of myself throughout my work. Like she said, I absolutely am always trying to come up with new and unique ways to explore my own identity, and also to showcase the way that I'm not only changing, but the way that I've already changed. So this new character that I made is part of a show that I made for Feltzine through Cultural Policy, which is a really cool organization. And it's a collaborative work with a few other artists, but my part included like an animated virtual character, which included an additional piece of jewelry that I had designed. That's a science fiction concept piece. If I can share my screen, then I will show that. This is Fluxy, well, at least it's a close-up of her face. She's got all these cool design elements, like this vocoder idea that her voice is being translated from an infinite place to a place that's more understandable. And that's like where I'm coming from. I'm a very spiritual person, as well as just a very strange person, but my spirituality involves the idea of the infinite and zero and constant change. And so this character is embodying that through like a technological like like point of view. So it's coming from this infinitely changing character, and like being shown in a way that is like perceivable. So that's what I'm trying to do when I'm making my art, is I have all of these ideas that are way out there in the ether, in the void, and I'm trying to like incorporate those in a way that could be understood, like queerness in trying to photograph this concept, or trying to like encapsulate what I'm trying to do is so difficult and always changing. So I just wanted to show you all this most recent video that I made. Ursa Major. So that was a piece that involved a few different programs. I like to explore a lot of different like tools, digital tools, and combine them to create like a completely like unique form of art. So this piece, for example, included like I used Gravity Sketch to draw the face, Cinema 4D for creating the body, and the 3D scan, I found the 3D scan of the hotel, of not this hotel, but of this palace that she's in is an actual Russian palace that exists in Russia. So that scan I put into Cinema 4D. I also have been using, like recently in some of my pieces, I can show, I like use elements of Los Angeles, and I use Blender to rip the 3D model off of Google Maps. So that's Google Maps 3D scan data that I'm using as scenery in my animation. And this is a piece that is like a protest piece against the LAPD and the LAPASD, which is the Aerial Support Division of the Los Angeles Police Department, because they have the most helicopters of any police force in the world, and it's just wild. They have, I feature all the helicopters in this video that I made where they attack me, and I triumph over them by climbing to the top of City Hall here in Los Angeles, which is something that is like it's like a dream, you know, and the helicopters fly above my head, and there's nothing that I can do about it. There's nothing I can say to them even, because they're way up there. And you know, so through my art, I'm able to accomplish things that could never be accomplished in this reality. You know, I feel as though I really did climb to the top of City Hall, you know, because I did in this video. And every time I drive by there, it just feels like, oh, I just remember that I made this clip where I climbed to the top of it and I put this flag at the top, and I make all the helicopters turn pink and freeze right in midair, you know. So it's like it feels like I made, like, there's no way that in this reality that I've constructed that I can be defeated in this, you know, in this world. So it's a full amount of freedom. The range from, oh, I can generate something that is like somewhat realistic, or I can generate something that is completely like fully fantasy, and I can blend those things. So that's like that's what I'm exploring, is I'm exploring both like what I could do and who I am. So like one of the pieces that I wanted to start showing also is like these are my first few, actually, my first two virtual garment pieces. There's a lot more of them. Here's one right here. So this is a close-up. I have a few more here. It's like made like having dresses made of gold, and like a whole like exoskeleton. I have this idea of building an exoskeleton because I want to feel defended. So I'm like, oh, like you can see my helmet back here. I like ride a motorcycle, and I like just actually made this shell backpack because I'm going to be making a full body armor that will make me feel like more myself. Like I make filters as well that go on Instagram, and I'm going to be making some for Snapchat soon, and they make me feel more like myself. I mean, I'm wearing virtual makeup, and it makes me feel more like myself because I am choosing I'm choosing what I am, what I'm showcasing of myself. So that freedom is what was the same kind of freedom that I'm talking about when I'm like making all these works. I made like I work with virtual reality a whole lot. And this is like a project that I did where it live streams a 360 video into a virtual reality headset so that you can see in all directions at once. So you're walking around and this is what you're seeing. You're seeing this like sphere around you. And that's like another safety thing, because I think about like, oh, I can't see behind my head, but in this view, you can see behind your head. And I actually invented this, I patented this. It's a 360 VR, like head-mounted display system. So like you can see in all directions. I see there's something in the Q&A. What does the color pink mean to me? Oh, I can totally talk about that. I use pink because it's like standard femininity. You know, I love colors in general, and I don't think that, you know, it's kind of a comedy to me to know that there's some color that's been subscribed to, this is the gender of the color. Like a color is like a spectrum. But anyway, I use pink because I think it's super cute, and like I like pastels in general. So it doesn't have to be pastel pink, but I definitely think that it, like I changed my name to Huntrezz from Hunter, and I did that to be specifically feminine. I thought that Hunter was pretty like non-gendered, but some people think it's male gendered, so I don't like that. And I'm a very feminine person. I identify with my femininity and transness, and like not just transgender, you know, but also like transhuman. I feel like there's so much more than any sort of binary. Everything exists on a spectrum, and everything is in constant flux. And so I recognize, you know, the femininity upmost for myself. So that's why I changed my name specifically to Huntress, because it feels more me. It feels specifically feminine also. So like it's undeniable. I think about like undeniability a lot of the time. So like when I change my name specifically to be a feminine form of a word, then it's like I then am misgendered, then it's clearly there's a mistake being made. You know, like there's some kind of disconnect. Um, but I've got so much here to talk about. Oh, talking about flipping binaries. I made this cartoon when I graduated CalArts called Upside Downtown, and it's about a world in which gravity reverses and everybody falls into the sky. Um, so it, I'll just show some clips. It's like a sci-fi short. It was early. I'm gonna put it on silent. It was early into my 3D graphics. So I this was actually like my first like mostly 3D uh video. Um and it just is a sci-fi concept that I think embodies this idea of like a full 180 shift from uh like the way things are to the way things could possibly be. So like somebody who could be like, oh, nonsense, you know, gravity's always going to be there, but you know, we don't know, you know. So I was playing around with this concept of like everything being upside down, and that's something that I've dreamed about since I was a little kid. And I think it's part of like this my whole like uh my whole yeah, my whole like perception about change and uh like difference. So like maybe you saw like in the video all the colors are the same thing. Like you're asking about the color pink, like I made that video like way cartoon colors, you know, because I don't feel tied to the traditional color tone of reality. It's not about like I don't like the way colors are right now, but I definitely envision like I don't think that colors have to be one way. You know, they can be different ways. Oh, thanks for loving my eyebrows. Yeah, green. Yeah, I've got they show there no matter what. But I make this is a built-in filter. I make tons of filters. You can check them out on my Instagram. Uh, Here I can show. Here, if I go to art, I can show my first two, tinsel polycarbonate and hologram lithography. And they have poems that go with each of them. Confetti gas coordinates this triple-faced invertebrate. Impersonate elatedly and live in gaseous extortionate is tinsel polycarbonate. And then for hologram lithography, there's you're an Elvis rainbow alien, Gulier's earrings and gradients, squiggles on your cranium, antennae contemporaneous. And they're both definitely like, they really tackle my personality. Like they really dive into my alien vibe and my computer tech vibe are the two, I think. And they're similar vibes, as you can see, but I think that, yeah, you can see in my filters that they change over time, and they're not all like the same. I have one called one is called Chromavirus, and it's about like coronavirus. I've got one anime villainy one that features the same facial jewelry as Fluxy. And I've got a lot of different, things, not just the filters on my Instagram, but I've got those protest videos. Here's one. So that's a 3D scan of my own face that I put on there using an app called Belus 3D, which is available for the iPhone. I downloaded that app and scanned my face and then incorporated it into this video that I made using Blender, Cinema 4D, and After Effects. Oh, and I also did some hand-drawn magic effects that you could only see for fractions of seconds, but that's also in there. So I also do hand-drawn animations. Like here, this is a meditation on like stillness and animation itself. So yeah, I can show this. So it's like more of a drawing exercise. My work encompasses not just digital, like it was said. I do stop motion and hand drawing animation, and performance is a lot of my work. Okay, so that's Szilárd Formák, which is in Hungarian, because I am half Hungarian, and that was a Hungarian title. Solid Forms. I also do lots of paintings. Oh, here's another piece that I could show. There's another piece.
And Huntrezz, what is the medium of the painting that you are showing us?
This one, I painted this. It's a print of a painting that I made in Gravity Sketch. So this is fully digital and is more of it's a printed on canvas, but it is like a virtual sculpture portrait of this spiked being. I have more multimedia works, but a lot of my paintings are on. I put them on mirrors, so it might be a bit difficult to see this one. Here's one here. And she's on the mirror. And I have a lot of works like this. There's a large collage piece that I have here. So I have, here's one also older, but you know, they are also rainbow and colorful and also parts of me. You know, I can show here. I'll share screen again so that I can show this little show that I did a few years back, 2 years ago. That's how it looked at that time. It includes paintings. And the idea of, oh, I love this one. Yo Cyclops. This is one of my favorite ones. And the idea of having them on mirrors is about reflection, of course, but also it's about like not painting on a white surface, as white isn't like the standard of like blankness. I think I love painting on a clear or reflective surface because that really feels colorless to me. It's a truly blank slate. And so when I work on the mirror, it also reflects back at the viewer, so that it also is a literal shift in perspective. And a lot of my work is also talking about this shift in perspective. Oh, I've got more questions. Did I take a life drawing or a class? Yes, I love life drawing. For many years, I was taking a sketchbook wherever I go. Now I take my laptop pretty much wherever I go. So it's like it's a similar vibe. Or I'll have my virtual reality headset. But I was drawing a lot, so that translates very much so into the virtual realm as well. When I do a 3D sculpture, like I was just using Sculpt-GL here. So like this is like something I just literally just made as an example in a second. But it's like if I am to do something in here, it literally like, let's use the move tool. This is like drawing. It feels like drawing to me. So yes, it completely does translate to I might use this for something. So this definitely feels like if I use, it feels like, oh, this is for sure like directly translating from like my work like in a physical realm, you know? So let's use inflate maybe. Okay. So this definitely feels, yeah, when I sculpt something, it definitely translates, and back the other way as well. Like I think a big part of it, of my work, isn't though any kind of skill. It's like more the concept and what I'm expressing with my work. So although I do love to get like to practice and hone my skills, like with life drawing or like taking a class, I would say life drawing is, you don't have to take a class. You can, as long as you just draw and look at your subject more than you look at your paper, because it's all about your perception. Again, it's not about like your hand motion. So even when you're drawing, like it's not about like your drawing method, it's about your perception method. It's like how you can be watching. So I think that's interesting, because perception and reality, they are everything, you know. So oh, here's another question. When did you get into the work I was doing? Since I'm still pretty young. Well, I started doing animation when I was a little kid. I started animating at 9 years old uh, through classes, and I also like was like teaching myself. So like I can actually maybe show. What's my oldest piece on here? No, I probably shouldn't go too far back. My works have been improving steadily. So I appreciate that, but I feel like, yeah, a lot of my most recent works are my best works, luckily. I have not peaked yet. But yeah, I started when I was very young, and I in fact tried to buy my first 3D animation program when I was like, I don't even know. I was so young. I must have been like 8, and I like, I tried to get it and I couldn't afford it for a while. And I finally saved up. It was like $60 or something. And like, I got it. It was called Animation Master, and I had no idea how to use it. And but I like was still excited to have it. I was playing with it, and I'm the same way now. Like sometimes I'll download programs and I won't know anything about them, and I'll just, most of my things that I'm learning, like when I learn a program, I'm teaching myself and I'm learning off of the internet. So I'm taking tutorials, and if it's even in programs that I do know, like I only know how to do what I did with them. Like there's so many more things that can be done, for example, with Blender than I know how to do with Blender. However, I do use Blender all the time, but I don't know everything about Blender. Oh, Molly Corey would like to answer this question live. I don't know how
That's
to.
just me taking Q&A's questions off that you've answered, so you don't have to worry about that. But I did have a quick question about the your process of learning these programs, because I have looked at some of them and they are completely daunting to me. And I'm wondering, have you taken courses on it, or is it really trial and error? Do you just make your way through the programs and test everything? Just fascinated how you process all of that, and you created that little mask in 30 seconds. So
Yeah, like I found this program, and this one is called SculptGL. I'm gonna add a cube, and I found this program online when I was looking for free alternatives to Blender, uh, which is like the premier sculpting app, you know. So I was looking for anything really to emulate this other program that I had learned called Blender. And Blender is essentially this, not Blender, I keep saying Blender, I meant ZBrush. ZBrush is like the most like powerful web sculpting. There's Mudbox and stuff, but I think ZBrush is the most powerful. And I tried to have it on my laptop, but it just didn't, it was just too hefty of a program to run on my laptop. So I looked for alternatives and I found this, and really the tools in here are like they're fun, but they're much more limited than they are in ZBrush. So I had already known ZBrush. I had like taught myself, and also like learned by watching others use it. But like I don't know what I'm sculpting here, but it's definitely like oh, I experimented to get to, you know what I mean? Like I am like I'm just playing around, you know. So like this could end up being some kind of person, you know. Let's see, for like it's kind of looking like a person. Let's see if I make the, so yeah, I'm just playing, you know. So like I there's no wrong answer with art, as they always, you know, there's always a lot of people say that, but yeah, I just have a lot of fun with it, you know. So yeah, I just like try to have fun, and like I don't get frustrated if it crashes because if I did that, then I would never get anywhere, because with the technology, like especially because I'm learning, like as I'm like also teaching, you know, so it's like there's also always new changes, programs get discontinued, new programs pop up, so it's like even if you learn a program, it's not worth much for long, because in a few years there's going to be the new thing, and it's not going to, you know, so it's more about getting used to just playing, you know, like because I don't know the entirety of any of these programs, so I try to have fun, and like just be me, and like that seems to that seems to work. And yeah, it does get tough, especially when you work hard on a project and something happens and the computer crashes, or like like it's just really tough, or you can't seem to figure out this one roadblock, and it's days of just troubleshooting a technical issue. But that happens to me, you know. That's not and I look to others and I ask questions, and I yeah, I post on whatever forum, like I'm having this issue, you know. So yeah, there's a big community out there of like digital artists, and you know, I think this like online world that we are in, like the way that it keeps expanding is absolutely wonderful, and like totally like my Afrofuture. I would upload, you know, to virtual heaven. So yeah, I'm there, you know, and I'm just having fun, and like I'm really plugged in also. Like I always try to look out for the new, like like if I see, oh, there's this thing happening, like if I even hear that there's like some new program, then I'll be like, ooh, like I'm gonna email this person to find out like if I can get my hands on this beta test or something, you know, before it comes out fully. um because there's literally a lot of these tools like Mixamo and all these other things, like they're just coming out, like I'm just learning them, you know, because they're new programs, like things that I couldn't have done a year ago, 2 years ago, you know, because the programs didn't exist yet. Do I hack tools? I definitely misuse tools a lot. Uh, but I don't do much coding myself. I can code. I put together this website, but that's about as much as I can do, is yeah, linkify things to send one click to another thing. And so like I don't really do coding to the extent of building my own programs, you know. So I definitely will use some coding type tools. Like I said, I ripped the 3D model from Google Maps, like that was through Blender, through a plugin, but like it took some number push, like some codes and things to put in, but it wasn't terribly complex. And I just looked at, I had this one specific thing that I needed to learn how to do, how to take the real world and put it in the virtual world. And Google Maps has already done that in 3D. And so I was like, I'm just going to take their data. I don't have satellites, but I can use their satellites. And like I used it in my videos, and I made a filter for the Tate Collective that was mentioned, and I found the 3D model on Google Maps of the whole area around the museum. So I like downloaded the whole area around the museum, deleted all the neighboring buildings, and then down-resed, because the file of the museum was so huge. But for a filter, it needs to be under like 4 megabits. So it's like it needs to be a very simple file for it to be a filter, because it's a live.
Excuse me, Huntrezz, can you share that wonderful filter with us? I love that filter.
Yeah. I'm going to uh, oh, I have it on my Instagram here. I can pull it there. Share screen again. That was definitely a fun project. I was so proud. Here's that. How that looks. So that's the museum, you know, but I added all of these other elements like tentacle hair and like these earrings and an upside down mask. Like this is a little slideshow between a bunch of my filters, me wearing them too. And saying rhymes. I guess I can play the sound. Maybe not. That's a demon filter I made. Lizard filter I made. This is the one with Fluxy's jewelry on it. Coronavirus. And there's the Tate filter again. With the museum, that's a 3D model from Google Maps, but I like edited it so that it would fit in the file. And then this one's called Moorish Mandible, which is based off of sculptures by Henry Moore, which has like mandibles of those sculptures. There's me. This is another one I made called Ansem, which has all these insect parts because I love the idea of scale as well. So like, not only do I love playing with like shifting perspective in a mirror or making by upside down town, but like through the shifting of scale, like I love ants for that reason. The scale idea is so fun to me because it's a whole other world that exists within our world at different scales. So that's just it wild to me. We got comments too. I'm struck by my VR invention and mirror paintings, both dealing with perception and the standard of blankness. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think reflection is really important, and I love like shiny things. on top of all of those concepts, it just feels cleaner. It feels free of color. So people ask me what my favorite color is, and I say, oh, like reflective. Thanks. Yeah, I do make music videos. In fact, I just made a music video for a friend. Maybe I'll show that. My friend's name is Knife, and I made this music video for her, and her like project is called Close Good Friends, and she wanted the video to be like her in the avatar state, which is like the state of controlling all forms of matter like fire, water, earth, and air, which is from the show The Last Airbender. And I do a lot of clips of friends like in that way, where like this is my friend Ajani, who is like a part of like a skateboarding all women's like skateboarding collective, and so like this is I just made an animation of her skating, you know, or at least floating in the air skating, and like my other friend is like a wonderful musician, and I just wanted to showcase their work with this video here, which is like here I can play the music. So that was like, that's my friend, Luzco Trees. And yeah, like these are people that I know, people that I'm friends with. So it's like really amazing for me to feel like I can uplift not only my own self, but like the people that are around me by like showcasing them in this virtual world. Like it's something that like not many people know how to do. I feel like many people could do it, you know. I don't feel like they're like oh like this is not learnable, you know, this is, but I do feel like it's becoming more and more like every few months that goes by there's new tools that enable people to more easily make the kind of things that I'm making. So like I made a video for Jungle Pussy recently. So yeah, I was really excited to do that. But yeah, I feel like yeah, like showcasing the kinds of things that I would love to see, you know. So I'm generating something that I would also love to consume. So it's definitely a great opportunity for me. Like especially, I mean, it's been tough throughout this pandemic, and I know people who've like passed away and like close people to me from COVID. But um, like this, I've taken it as an opportunity to like really like work on what I like can do, and I've like learned a lot of these tools like under lockdown. So like there's a double-sided sword, you know, like where like in one direction, like now I'm receiving all these opportunities to work online, but I that I didn't previously have. So it's like a good side. There's like a good side to it for me, where I like I'm now like people I have like attention on the work that I'm creating, whereas previously for a long time I wasn't really like I wasn't there was no like I would not have been invited to make this talk, even though a lot of my work I had already made. But my most recent work I feel has elevated, and I'm still elevating. So like please keep an eye out for all this new stuff that I'm making with my new computer, because like this new computer is going to transform everything that I'm doing. Everything that I've shown you, I made on this laptop, and my everything that that's why I was wanting to show y'all what I've been drawing in VR. And recently is all these like different like wild science fiction fish, because I love fish. They're ancient beings, and I just have this idea about like them existing like all like these like in the air. So like yeah, Afrofuturism, but like Afro way futurism. Like I'm talking like not only like science fiction and technology, but full magic. Like it's beyond, you know, because what they say, all technology, you know, to those who don't understand it, would seem like magic, you know. So even the magic that we could envision, you know, beyond that magic to a level of like a quantum like state of like majesty. So I believe that that is in the future, it's in the past, it's currently, and like I'm so happy to like be a part of it. So I can keep showing some more works if if this one is this is exactly what I was talking about. Me and my friend Nare and co-artist on this project made a projection show. So this is all like light. It's a light show that happens through fog. So we use projectors to project beams of light through pixels. So each pixel is like a beam of light, and it's animated so that it like moves through the fog, and you go and you walk through the 3D beams of light, And so the projector is not facing a screen, but it's facing you, and you're walking through these fogged like beams of light. I don't know why it's going kind of slow. So here's like an example. It's like a laser light show, but more animated. Here's some images. Maybe I'll just show those if the video is not loading. As you can see, it's like you've got these grid lines. We made holograms by encapsulating some of the projections in glass, which we filled with fog. So the holograms were like, there's a holographic cube. We projected it at these pieces of glass from different angles to create these animated holograms. And this is something that we didn't use any like crazy technology for. All we did was use projectors and animate lines. So it became 3D through the act of projecting. But we had been just experimenting with all of these glass and container and fog like shaping tools. So that was like something that was a precursor to my 3D design. But I think today, if I were to reapproach it with my 3D, those holograms would be even wilder. Oh, we've got more questions. I love these. Oh, K Tornado, I love that. I love that music. It's so good. Struck by my VR invention, my 360 vision. That was something that I was so tripped out by for the longest time. 360 vision, the one where I see in all directions I mentioned. That one, like, it definitely tripped me out. I wanted to talk about like it's another side, you know. So I made that thing, I patented it, and then I was approached by the military for its use. I don't, and I was like, I'm done with this because I don't condone any sort of, that's not the use I intended for the 360 vision, see all in all directions at once. I definitely see how it could be used, but it's envisioning a new way of perception, because I was thinking about how animals see in all directions. You know, how they have, like, some animals have like not predatory like placement of an eye, but like more cautionary placement of the eyes, where they can see behind them just more easily because their eyes are on the sides of their head. And I was thinking about like whether like how we could exist like that. And using VR, like I wanted to explore like the different ways we can perceive our surroundings. So that's why I was exploring with the 360 vision. It was more of a like idea of like a playfulness, of an experiment, of changing the way we perceive things. Again, in 360 vision, you see in all directions at once. So like here, I can read some of my text about it. My focus is the interaction with between perception and reality, both biologically and philosophically. In this project, I'm developing a head-mounted display, biological and cognitive experiment, technological development piece, in conversation with artistic and philosophical concept of reality without perception. So yeah, I believe in reality beyond perception. So zeroth person perspective, you know, a goal that's, so my goal with this project, again, was to invent a new way of perceiving reality that is an improvement for our biological constraints, as well as inform a broader psychosocial understanding to the users of how perception is coming from a singular point, while reality exists as an infinite amount of possible points. Freeing sight from its angular limitation is something that has a significant effect on the way a person interacts with their reality. I was finding that for sure, like for example, walking up and down stairs with the VR headset on, you know, with the 360 vision, is a lot scarier than walking upstairs. Like, even because when you walk upstairs, you don't really think about how there's a huge like drop behind you, you know, because you're looking forward, you're walking forward up the stairs, and you could fall backwards, and you really understand that more when when you have the vision behind your head as well. So like I found that like I made me want to like crawl upstairs on all fours more, that because just to feel safer, because you know, like it felt scary to be standing straight up with a huge ledge behind me. And even though I walk upstairs every day and I don't think about it. We've got more things throughout the course of this last year. I've noticed a lot of digital art moving towards this 3D glitchy aesthetic. Cutting edge of that movement. Blender and infinite wealth of YouTube tutorials moving into mainstream. Well, I find, you know, that because I'm working with the digital realm, like glitches are inherent. Like I was animating, I'm working on a project that's like an anime project, but the character is supposed to be like a digital like meme anime. And so I animated it using motion capture. And when you animate something using motion capture, there are jumps and clicks in the movement that you have to clean up. And that's a lot of work. And I decided in one of my newer projects to keep the glitches in because it looks digital. You know, they're glitches, so it's like, oh yeah, I think that there's intentional glitching and there's also like the inherent glitching of like experimental and new medias. So like I embrace it. So when something glitches, unless it breaks the whole program, like I love it, you know. Unless it shuts down what I'm working on, I try to use it because yeah, it's a part of what I'm doing, and it shows that it's still in development. This is something that like is still like new, and so new that it's not even fully like perfected. And so a lot of glitches like you know, like I should be able to, you know, there's my face.
Huntrezz, I'm going to come up to the podium for a moment now and join you. Thank you for this incredibly immersive artist talk. And what I am so kind of speechless about is how the technology for you and the artistry, they are completely melded together, that there's nothing like, it doesn't feel like you're using the tools to make the art and the artist somehow not enhanced by all the technology. And I really am speechless at also this expression that you talked about in the beginning about freedom and finding freedom in your work, and also allowing yourself, as now the conversation about glitches, to be human too, right? And to allow the artist's hand, in a sense, to also show through. I want to ask you one question that we talked about the other day, and that was just about, if, you know, speaking with students, what are the inherent kind of trade-offs by putting work on Instagram, in your opinion? Where does that kind of take things? And if you would share a few thoughts about that.
Yes. I mean, I wish that I could upload all my filters and people would still use them and they wouldn't be on Instagram. Instagram definitely it filters the filters. So you have to pass their approval, like moderators, to get your filter onto Instagram. They have a whole set of guidelines, and I've had not one but most of my filters be rejected on their first application. Especially early on. Now it seems like they get that I make a lot of filters, and I think they see that, you know, some of my filters have like, yeah, hundreds of thousands of users. So it's like they are more prone to accept my new filters. But when I was first starting out, for example, like making those first two filters, those first two got rejected. And the hologram mythography and tinsel polycarbonate, they said, here I can show, they said that it was a racist. There's something like they said it was like they said it was like uh like I don't know, they said it was like because lips, see here, like I made these like larger lips that I think like were like cool and beautiful. Like I see that as like, oh, like I'm embracing like this bubbliness and like, and I didn't think that like it was any sort of like, just because I'm a black person and like I'm not trying, like I'm not making a blackface filter, but they there's there's a whole lot of things that where there's like miscommunications, and they're not just like they're controlling what they're showing and who they show it to and when they show it to that person, and like like so it's I don't like that I have to share my things on Instagram. I don't like Instagram. I do use it because it is like the primary, place where a lot of people will view and people can easily access these newer technologies.
Mm.
But I feel
I
like
found that so interesting because I think so much art is consumed, right? Through Instagram now, and you presenting this narrative about Instagram essentially censoring, right, your work
yes,
is really gives me pause.
yeah,
I'm so grateful to you for spending this hour with us at LMU, and I thank you, and I I hope to have the opportunity to welcome you for an encore in person to campus. I think that
wonderful.
would be a wonderful thing to look forward to. I'm sure that the art faculty would be delighted to have you as well. So I thank you so much for sharing so much of your work today with us. And I thank the team behind the scenes. And we will be back for the final Kaleido of this semester, which is on Friday, December 11th. I think that's actually 3 weeks from now, with the artist Joel Garcia. So I look forward to seeing you back. Thank you, students from Art 110, and take care.